Hey there, time for another book review. And today we are talking about Ghost Writer by author Jennifer Brasington-Crowley. And she wrote this in collaboration with Brian Bateman. And while I don't typically seek out true horror novels, Jennifer Brasington-Crowley is one of my favorite writers. And the premise of the book was very intriguing. And so I knew if it was something Jennifer was lending her pen to, it would be a compelling read. Um, Her writing style is so inviting and familiar and welcoming. Even for a horror book, it just was like sinking into a comfortable chair at the end of a hard day. Her writing just really is an easy thing to read and resonate with. As I mentioned, she wrote this book in collaboration with Brian Bateman. He's a real life friend of Jennifer's, and he is also the man who relayed some true life events from his own experience that became the basis of Ghostwriter. This is an absolutely authentic horror story, so if that's what you're looking for, you will find it here. The protagonist of the book is Ryan O'Connor, and he starts off likable enough. But over time, the house he and his family moved into and its ghostly inhabitants, they make their mark on Ryan and they turn him into a truly vile and violent man. Um, Readers will witness him devolving from a loving husband and father to a paranoid conspiracy theorist. He's obsessed with writing a best selling novel based on the actual heinous crimes that took place in his neighborhood and his house as well. And he's also drawing from these imaginary events he's creating in his head. It's going a little crazy here. Um, the author never shies away from gritty scenes. In her other series, which were not horror, she has some pretty gritty scenes. So I wasn't surprised to find that in a horror novel that she wrote. But I definitely saw her push past her boundaries, I'm guessing. And so there are a handful of really gross scenes. There are points where you'll think about the main character, Ryan, okay, he won't go there. And then he does. And as I was reading, I was thinking about the author. Okay, she won't go there, but she does. So there are some kind of skeevy moments, but it's a horror novel. What do you expect? The secondary characters are well placed throughout the book. Uh, the author really expertly guides you through this creep fest as the suspense is just building. The main character, Ryan, he does have a daughter, and she is kind of the canary in the cave here. She kind of has a sense in her very young view of what's going on. The wife, Charlotte, it seems to be pretty oblivious until it's too late. Um, there's an odd mix of neighbors in the neighborhood that ends up rounding out the cast. I was particularly impressed with the backyard neighbor. He's squirrel loving Dave, and he really fits the role of um, kind of the voice that is talking to Ryan, the main character, kind of setting that warning. This is what's happened. This is what's going to happen if you don't stop. And that character really reminded me of the blind seer in the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Which is based upon the blind seer in the Odyssey. So I thought that was just such a great theme and concept to pull into this horror story. So kudos to the author for that as well. There are other important characters making up the people living on Henley Avenue. Crazy Viola, she was pretty scary. Her son Frank, It's a very interesting character, menacing, and I really couldn't get a beat on who he was until the end. Um, but that's a spoiler, so I'm going to stop there. Uh, I think at the end of this book, people will wonder if Ryan, the main character, was really possessed by evil spirits, or did he just go insane through a series of bizarre events, um, that ended up playing upon a fragile mind, and his imagination just really grew things um, as well. I think it can go either way, and I think that's up for the individual reader to decide. I did interview the author, Jennifer Brasington-Crowley. I've interviewed her twice on my podcast. She is delightful and amazing. And we talked about this book before it came out. And she said she was inspired by Poltergeist as one of the things that she thought about when she was writing. And you can sense that flavor. I definitely got a sense of Stephen King's The Shining. Um, those are, I mean, come on, those are, two of the greatest art pieces of art to inspire you for horror. So I thought this definitely this sits on a shelf next to Stephen King as far as I'm concerned. The ending, at least parts of it, kind of surprised me, and I do think that the author brought the story to a close. With a ghostly thread that has pulled all the chapters together into really a perfect horror story. So, while this is not the level of horror I typically seek out, um, if this is something that sounds like you would like to read, you got these increasingly horrific scenes, and it's speckled with layers of gruesome bits and pieces. If this fits into what you like, you definitely need to grab this book, buy this book, and get it on your bookshelf. So once again, Ghostwriter, um, 5-star read. Check it out today, and I'll see you the next time with the next review. Take care. Bye bye.